Okay, so we are live now. So Hare Krishna. So welcome all the devotees for today's Throwback Thursday organized by ISKCON Seshadripuram. And today it's our great fortune that we have with us Her Grace Tarini Radha Mataji. So Mataji is practicing Krishna consciousness since 1988, so close to 36 years. So it's a great fortune to have very senior devotee with us sharing their experiences about Guru Maharaj, personal realizations with Guru Maharaj. And talking about Mataji. Mataji is currently based in Chennai and she serves in the temple. And mainly she takes care of, as per my understanding, she mainly takes care of the child preaching programs in ISKCON Chennai. And these programs are being conducted since 2000. And till now, a lot of children have received a lot of benefits from these teaching programs, which runs online, offline, and there are, I think, as Mataji mentioned, there are some schools as well. These programs are being conducted. And apart from that, Mataji also contributes to Back to Godhead magazine articles. Mataji has also written some books, story books for children. So, with this, we'd like to welcome Mataji for our session. So, over to you, Mataji. And we would like to welcome Mataji by chanting one time Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Over to you, Mataji. Mataji, you are on mute.
Thanks. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripasindubhya ev cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So I would like to thank Akshay Gaur Sundar Prabhu for giving me this opportunity to remember Guru Maharaj, which is always so pleasing, so fulfilling. And he's been quite persistent in getting me to agree to this program. So thank you so much. I would like to start my presentation today by reading from Prabhupada's purport in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 6, Verse 5. So this is where Narada Muni is explaining about the developments that happened to him after he met with the sages. So in this purport, Prabhupada explains, in his previous life, when Narada Ji was impregnated with spiritual knowledge by the grace of the great sages, there was a tangible change in his life. Although he was only a boy of 5 years. That is an important symptom visible when after initiation by the bona fide spiritual master. Actual association of devotees brings about a quick change in life for spiritual realization. So today being the appearance day of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, our great-grandfather spiritual master, I would like to read one passage from his conversation about association. So Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says, if genuine devotees who are fixed at the Guru's feet teach us neither how to serve the spiritual master nor how to behave when we are with him, then even after receiving a bona fide spiritual master, we may lose him. We would be losing a coveted jewel if we were bereft of his service. So in other words, spiritual masters who are surrendered to their spiritual masters must teach people how to serve the spiritual master and how to behave with our own spiritual master. So this is what Guru Maharaj is very sincerely teaching us. By his service to Srila Prabhupada, he's teaching us how to take the order of the Guru as our life and soul, that every word he speaks will greatly benefit us, will empower us. And he's also teaching us as disciples how we should relate with him. Many of you may be aware that when you write to Guru Maharaj, you should write, please accept my respectful obeisances. So this is something, very simple thing Guru Maharaj has been teaching his disciples, that you can say humble obeisances when you are interacting with other devotees, but when you're writing to the spiritual master, speaking to the spiritual master, use the word respectful obeisances. So like this, in many ways, is just one example I wanted to give. In so many ways, Guru Maharaj is teaching us how as disciples we should interact with him. And by his own personal example of how he is serving Srila Prabhupada, he's teaching us how to serve the Guru. So I would like to start with that very beautiful day when I came in touch with ISKCON. This happened when I was in my final year in college. I was studying English literature in Stella Maris, and journalism was one of our subjects. So for the first semester, we interviewed our NCC captain in the college. She came to our classroom and we interviewed her. So for the next semesters, our journalism lecturer, she wanted us to go outside, interview people and write a report. So I was extremely confused what topic to take, what to write on. I could not fix up on any topic. And my friend at that time, her father was a life member, and she said, I want to write on ISKCON, you please come with me. So I went along with her, and we interviewed many devotees there. Ganga Prabhu was the president at that time. So we interviewed him. We interviewed Nimai Nitai Prabhu, who's a French pujari. So like this, we spoke with many devotees, and I was so convinced with the philosophy, especially the fish example that Ganga Prabhu gave, how the fish taken out of water is not happy with anything. The only thing it wants is to go back to the water like that. Only when we go back to Krishna, we can be fully happy. So many philosophical points like this, plus seeing how they came into Krishna consciousness. All this was very inspiring. And by Krishna's arrangement, my house was close to the temple, so I could go often. So I went to ISKCON just before Janmashtami. So the first event I attended was Srila Prabhupada Vyas Puja. And I really enjoyed it so much. And I started going on Sundays. And the devotees, they were guiding me to chant. And I got the Bhagavad Gita also. Please excuse my throat. So I was chanting 4 rounds, and I was chanting them really badly, very bad. Like my house was at the end of the road. It was a dead end. And I would be chanting on the road, and the TV is playing on at home. And my attention was completely on hearing the dialogues from the TV. So my chanting was really bad, absolutely no attention, no concentration. But still I was chanting because the devotees were asking me to. So when the devotees told me that, come on, how long will you chant 4 rounds? Increase to 6, increase to 8. I was like, this 4 is bad enough. And why should I do more? It's so bad. So I don't want to do more. So they were also getting like, when will she ever increase her rounds? And then I started reading Bhagavad Gita. And I have a background that I know a little bit of Sanskritam. I was attending Mayavad classes. So I thought that I was very intelligent, very knowledgeable. So when I started reading Bhagavad Gita, and then in the 2nd chapter, Krishna says, okay, Arjuna, now I taught you Sankhya Yoga. Now I'm going to teach you Buddhi Yoga. And Prabhupada there, he translates Buddhi Yoga as Krishna consciousness. So then I was like, what is this? Buddhi means intelligence. And why is this being translated as Krishna consciousness? And I just shut the book. I could not read beyond that. So I had a problem with reading Bhagavad Gita. I had a problem with chanting. I was reading the small books and enjoying them so much. I simply loved the small books of Prabhupada. But Bhagavad Gita, I could not proceed. So I tried one more time, a second time. And the same shloka, when I came to that same shloka in the 2nd chapter, I could not proceed. And I shut the book. So like this, I was so weak in my Krishna consciousness. But one thing in my favor was I loved doing service. At that time, Ganga Prabhu's wife, Raseshwari Mataji, and the Vice President, Radhika Raman Prabhu's wife, Leela Padma Mataji, both they had just had small children. They just had their first child. And they were so caught up taking care of the children. So they were happy to have my assistance and many services that they had to do. So one evening when I was in the temple, Raseshwari Mataji, Ganga Prabhu's wife, who was the president. So she got a phone call that Guru Maharaj is coming. So it was evening, and Guru Maharaj would be coming in the night, like 8:30 or so, straight from Spain. So you will all know that Guru Maharaj had this incident that happened in Madrid, where someone tried to cut his throat. So Guru Maharaj had recovered, and he was coming to India, and his first stop was in Chennai. Those days, Chennai was very lucky. It used to be like a platform for Guru Maharaj to go to different places because the airport had that facility. So he would come quite often those days. So when Mataji heard that Guru Maharaj is coming, she got all panicking that, oh my God, I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this. And how am I going to do all this? There's so little time, and there's this child also. She was getting into so much of a panic. So I told her, I'll come with you, I'll help you. So she took me to the market, to buy the things for the cake, for the garland, and we did all that purchase. And by the time we came back, it was quite late. And then we soaked the rice and dal to, make it leave for the next day like this. So many services, we were so busy. And then Guru Maharaj came in the night, and he gave the arrival lecture. And I saw him, and there was no introduction or anything. He gave the lecture. I was sitting at the back. And then, and then after he went to his room, again, busy doing so many services, getting the dinner, all that. And after Guru Maharaj had gone to rest, then after that, I was grinding the batter for the idli. So it was almost like 2:00 when I could go to sleep. And I was quite eager to get up for Mangalarti. And I was also lucky that my father permitted me to stay the night there. He was very kind. He gave me that permission. So I stayed the night there with the devotees in the temple, and then morning Mangalarti was there, and again busy with breakfast services. Bhagavatam class, maybe I went to hear. I don't even remember if I went to hear the Bhagavatam class. But what I very clearly remember is when I was in the kitchen helping Mataji with the breakfast, I was hearing this kirtan sound. And I had no idea where the kirtan is coming from. I go to the temple on Sundays, but I have no idea, what are the rooms in the temple, where what happens. I have no idea. So this actually Guru Puja was going on in the first floor. And I had no idea that Guru Puja is going on, and that is where the kirtan is coming from. But I just felt this very long, very strong pull that go to that kirtan, that the kirtan was like pulling me. So I told Mataji, I'm sorry, but I have to go for this kirtan. And Mataji stared at me. So much service to do. Service is more important, and you want to go and, just attend kirtan. She gave me that look like, are you okay? No, but this pull was so strong that I went, and I went to the foot of the steps, where the steps are starting. And I could hear the kirtan, and the tears just started rolling from my eyes. I have no idea what is happening. Why is this happening? I had no idea. It was just so much tears coming. So then I thought, with a face like this, with tears pouring down, I can't go up and face people. So let me go back to the kitchen. That is a safe place to hide. So I went back to the kitchen and I tried to do service. But again, there was this very strong pull. This Harinam was really pulling me. So again, I went all the way to the steps. And again, the tears flowed so much that I thought, this is no use. I can't show my face like this in public. So I went back to the kitchen. And then we were busy with all the services, everything. And then Guru Maharaj left. So there was no introduction or anything. I was not going and standing in front of him or anything, nothing. I was just busy doing service. So Guru Maharaj left. And then after a few days, suddenly I find myself fully awake at 3:30 in the morning. And I was thinking, I woken up so early and I'm feeling so fresh. What do I do now? So then I remembered from all the interviews I had done with the devotees that they wake up at 3:30 and they chant 16 rounds. So I just picked my bead bag and I chanted my first 16 rounds. So this is like what we read here, how a tangible change happens when you meet with a pure devotee. So from 4 rounds, which I was doing in such a bad state, I suddenly, overnight, literally, just started doing 16 rounds, and that too early in the morning. So this is a habit I could get into from that day. So how did this is like a miracle, how did this happen? And it is not that, like I said, there was no introduction or anything, but just that sincere attitude of service, which Krishna recognizes, which the spiritual master notices that here is somebody who's doing service, and he bestows his mercy, Krishna bestows his mercy, and our life starts, actually our initiation, we can say, happens at that point where you have accepted Guru, where you have served him with a full surrender, and he is also bestowing his mercy. For many people say this, that Guru Maharaj is just traveling constantly, he's just traveling everywhere, he's not really giving so much association. But from my example, I can say that wherever Guru Maharaj goes, even somebody gets to see him once, a tangible change happens. So this we have been hearing in so many pastimes of Guru Maharaj. So many people have spoken about this. So like we know this famous shloka in Chaitanya Charitamrita also, Lavamatra Sadhu Sanga Sarva Siddhihaya. So that is the magic that happens with Guru Maharaj. And every time Guru Maharaj came to Chennai, I would somehow or the other go to see him. And my prompt would be this song, Narottam Das Thakur's song, where he says, Gangara parasha hoile paschate pavan, darshane pavitra koro e tumara gun. So you take many times bath in the Ganga, then you may get purified. But just by darshan, a pure devotee can purify you. That is his quality. So I never missed an opportunity to be able to see Guru Maharaj and advance in my Krishna consciousness that way. So this has been my experience all through when Guru Maharaj visited Chennai. And I was just busy doing services. I don't even remember hearing the classes. Just so busy doing services, and I'm exhausted. These are those fortunate, lovely days when there were not enough devotees in the temple, where 1 or 2% had to do so much from morning to night. And by 3 days, you're like, wow, Guru Maharaj, how do you do this? I can't continue more. And I used to really admire these servants for continuously being with Guru Maharaj on this rigorous schedule. So those were the fortunate days. So busy doing service that you're not conscious of achieving anything Krishna conscious. You're not conscious that, oh, I heard class, I got knowledge, I participate in kirtan, I felt ecstasy. Nothing of that. So just service, service, service. And after the exhaustion is over, then you see, yes, some purification has happened in my heart. I've developed more attraction for the holy name and for the Lord. I could perceive that change that happened. So then I started chanting 16 rounds, and Bhagavad Gita also. I could continue reading without getting obstructed at the second chapter, Buddhi Yoga was. I could read Bhagavad Gita also continuously after that. So this is a changing point that happened in my life. So this was in 1989. And then in 1990, I went on my first visit to Mayapur. And it was Guru Maharaj Vyas Puja. And two things that two devotees said made a very good impact on me. There was one Mataji. She was telling in her Vyas Puja offering how Guru Maharaj knows what's in our heart, how he responds to what is in our heart. So she was telling that just then, that day, Guru Maharaj was holding a flower in his hand and just, playing with it. And she was thinking, oh, I want that flower. And within a few seconds, the Guru Maharaj threw that flower and it came right to her. So she gave it as an example of that time itself, that how everything that we think in our heart, Guru Maharaj can respond to. Several years later, many years after this incident, this has been a guiding principle for me, that whatever Guru Maharaj says is the word of Krishna. Because based on this, what I heard from this Mataji, and we have our own experiences, how Guru Maharaj responds to what's in our heart. So based on this, I made it my life principle that whatever Guru Maharaj says, I will accept, because he knows what is right for me. He is connected to me as well as to Krishna. And whatever he says is Krishna's will upon me. Of course, I would always cross-check with him if it was not something just, it's not something which we are out of the ordinary, something like that, then we must always cross-check. But generally, then this is a principle that I am living by. So I was telling, like many years later, after Guru Maharaj had the stroke and all that, so suddenly I had a doubt. What happened was, like, because of coming into family life and having children, my services to Guru Maharaj, direct services, had reduced to a large degree. And when Guru Maharaj had the stroke, then I started thinking, I have wasted my life. I have wasted so many opportunities I could have had to serve him. I was feeling so bad. And I started thinking that, what should I be doing? Should I just be taking care of my kids, or should I be doing direct service for Guru Maharaj? So many years I'm preaching that, women should take care of the children. And suddenly somehow I got this doubt because of the strong feeling that, if Guru Maharaj goes away, then I would have wasted so many years of my life doing nothing for him. So I wanted to ask this question, but then I thought that Guru Maharaj, I will not ask you. I'm thinking of this in my heart and I want you to answer me somehow. I want the answer from you, but I'm not going to tell you this question. So I prayed like this and I completely forgot about it. And then Guru Maharaj became all right and he came to Chennai. It's the Damodar program, Damodar month. He's giving a talk about Damodar. And somehow Damodar story, how do you start talking about regulative principles? So somehow Guru Maharaj started talking about regulative principles. I was wondering, why is he talking about regulative principles when he's telling the Damodar story? So he went into the regulative principles and then he started talking about grastas and he said how for mothers taking care of children is the topmost service. I was just hearing this, and even then, I didn't remember what prayer I had made some months ago. So I just heard the class. And then when I went back home that night, I remembered, oh, Krishna, I had prayed like this. And look, in the class, Guru Maharaj confirmed what is my duty. It was so astonishing. So next morning before Guru Maharaj left, I got the opportunity. I went and told him, Guru Maharaj, I had prayed like this and you spoke like this. This is amazing, Guru Maharaj. So this is one takeaway I got from the first Vyas Puja I attended, which, like I said, is my guiding principle in life, that faith that what I need, Guru Maharaj will fulfill. Like sometimes I tell devotees that it doesn't matter whether Guru Maharaj gets your letter or he responds, it doesn't matter. All that Krishna needs to know is that you have communicated to him, that you have sought his help. So just write. Whether it's read out to him doesn't matter. It's Krishna. It's Krishna who's going to look at it and he will take care. So what he wants us to show, Krishna wants us to show, is that we are surrendered to this devotee. We have taken his shelter and we are connecting to Krishna through him. So this is in my experience and this is something I've shared with devotees also. And another thing that happened at Vyas Puja, sorry, is when this South American lady, she was giving her offering and she was telling how Guru Maharaj, what we call Karmi name or birth name, how that name is connected to Lord Chaitanya. Possibly you have all heard this. So she was telling Guru Maharaj's given name, legal name is Gordon John. So maybe you've heard this. So then she was telling that this name, what does it mean? Gordon John, that he is the follower of the wealth of Lord Gauranga. And Guru Maharaj liked it so much that when he was walking back to the lotus building from Prabhupada Samadhi, he went on, like counting on his finger, Gordon John, Gordon John. He was like, so excited and, something new that he got. And his name was actually connected to Lord Chaitanya right from his birth. He was like so excited, like a child. He was counting like this on his fingers all the way down the walk to the Lotus building. So this happened in 1990. And later that year, I got into some trouble with my family. I did some what should I say? Okay, let me use Guru Maharaj words. I used some bad language towards a family member. And then I was young at that time, right? 20 years or so. And I started showing a very keen interest to become an ISKCON devotee, to marry marry an ISKCON devotee and become a full-time devotee. So naturally, my family, they became a little worried, anxious, because it's still those time when people think Hare Krishna means CIA agents and drug addicts, So then there was a ban on my going to the temple. So then I went to meet Guru Maharaj, and I explained to him what had happened. And then he wrote me a letter later. And there he gave this sentence. He has written this sentence: a Vaishnava never uses bad words and is a kind and gentle friend to everyone. So this line that Guru Maharaj wrote to me, I took it again as my life and soul. That's something that I shall practice all my life. So immediately I changed my attitude from someone who was reading Prabhupada's books and thinking, I'm the pure devotee Prabhupada is talking about, and becoming proud and puffed up because of that. So after Guru Maharaj wrote this, then I changed my attitude to people to become a kind and gentle friend to everyone and never use bad words or harsh language. So that was also a very important instruction I received and trying to follow. So then I met Guru Maharaj and I told him that there is this ban on my coming to temple. So what do I do? And he gave me some suggestions. He said that join for a computer course, get your skill in that so you can do service somehow later. And he said, maybe if you like, you can join school, ISKCON school as a teacher. So it would be more of a profession, an occupation than being a full-time devotee. So maybe your family would accept that. And then I said, Guru Maharaj, I would like to preach also. So then he said, okay, maybe you can do Namahatta. You can do no, maybe you can do Namahatta. So 3 things came from Guru Maharaj's mouth. One was to learn computers, to preach to children, to teach children. And the third thing was to do Namahatta. So I thought, why pick and choose from these 3? Let me do all 3. Let me take all 3 as instruction of Guru Maharaj. Let me do all 3. So I took the computer course, which has been so useful to me in all my services to ISKCON. And for teaching, that is when I started meditating on planning for teaching children. Now there's much I have been able to offer in children preaching. So it all started with this instruction from Guru Maharaj that I took as my life and soul, something that I will put my energy, effort, and skills into. So the first thing I did was I started meditating that if I'm going to be teaching children, then what is the best way to teach them? So songs and rhymes are the best way to teach them. So I started composing rhymes. At this point, I'm not teaching children. I'm not connected to any ISKCON school, but I just thought Guru Maharaj said, so let me start meditating on that. So I started composing rhymes and songs like this. And then I started gathering the neighborhood children and started teaching them Bhagavad Gita shlokas. And I had a class with the neighborhood children. And Namahatta preaching that I did later after my marriage. So, and another instruction, instruction Guru Maharaj told me is if your parents, I'm sorry, one moment, just give me a moment. Okay. So another thing he told me is that if your family does not want you to come to the temple, then you find some grihasthas near your house and you visit them. So I said, Guru Maharaj, there are no grihasthas near my house. But then Guru Vakya, when Guru Maharaj says something, that somehow the universe arranges it. So I used, because I could not come to ISKCON, then I started going to the Gaudiya Math temple nearby. I was a fiery preacher in the beginning of my ISKCON days. So I would preach to the women who were there in the Gaudiya Math. So I didn't have any problem with the devotees there. So when I approached one lady and I told her, please chant Hare Krishna, she said she's initiated. And then she said, I have a daughter who's just like you. She's your age. Please come home and meet her. So then we arranged one day and I went to their house. And I met my god sister, my very dear friend, who later took initiation, and her name is Apara Bhakti Devi Dasi. She lives in Shimoga. She's running a clinic there. So at that time, she was pregnant, and her mother is a devotee. So I started I started visiting her frequently, and we used to have a very good time together singing and talking about Krishna. So as Guru Maharaj said, though I could not come to the temple, somewhere suddenly this Grahastha family manifested with whom I could take association. So this is also Guru Maharaj's mercy. So in 1991, I went to Mayapur and I requested for initiation. So I was standing outside Guru Maharaj's office, the long building. Guru Maharaj came out of his room and he looked at me and he said, are you a star in Krishna's sky? Just suddenly, he just came out of the room. He looked at me and he says, are you a star in Krishna's sky? I was wondering what to say. And then I remembered two things. Always be positive and always say you need Guru's mercy. These two things, whatever you speak, these two things should be there. So I said, yes, Guru Maharaj, by your mercy. So he said, Hari Bol, and he walked away. So then only later I realized that he was referring to my birth name, which is Tara, which was Tara. So only later I realized that he was referring to that. So after that, I had my initiation interview. And he asked me, what do you want? So I said, Guru Maharaj, I want to become your disciple. He said, as if he had not heard. He said, Guru Maharaj, I want you to be my spiritual master. Then he said, I'm not already your spiritual master? Then I said, yes. Then, Guru Maharaj, it's just a formality. The initiation ceremony is just a formality. He said, yes. So this confirms again what I said earlier, what I began with, that the moment a tangible change the moment the tangible change happens in your heart, that is initiation, as Prabhupada says in that purport. Let me read it again. This is an important symptom visible after initiation by the bona fide spiritual master. Actual association of devotees brings about a quick change in life for spiritual realization. So that surrender that I could show by the help of Raseshwari Mataji, by doing service, which was accepted by Guru Maharaj, and Krishna's blessings were there. So that at that point, the surrender had happened. So Guru Maharaj said, I'm not already your spiritual master. You're not already my disciple. I said, yes. So then this is only the initiation ceremony is just a formality, like a registration or something. So Guru Maharaj was very pleased with that. And another thing I remember very strongly at that time is from Chennai, VG Santosham, who had given us property, who had given ISKCON a property. He was visiting Mayapur. And Banu Maharaj, who was also in the interview room, someone came and told Banu Maharaj that he has come, he's downstairs. Then Banu Maharaj immediately got up to go. So he came outside the room and he was at the window, and Guru Maharaj called him, Maharaj, should I come? And Banu Maharaj from the window, he called out, yes. And Guru Maharaj immediately, I could see that Guru Maharaj was going to get up, and I had this Martha training that, when a senior person is standing, you cannot be sitting. So before Guru Maharaj got up, I got up, because I cannot be sitting when Guru Maharaj is standing. So Guru Maharaj was like, he showed some surprise in his eyes. He blessed me with his walking stick, and he went to meet this VG Santosha. So these are my memories from the initiation ceremony. And I was very happy when I got this name, Tarini Radha Mataji. I like the name so much. I was very happy. So then the next year, in 1992, Guru Maharaj came to Chennai again in March, early March, first week of March, there was a Pandal program. And as usual, I was busy. in the kitchen. And in the evening, he has to leave now for the program. So I just went there to give him one cake I had made. And I said, Guru Maharaj, I have 2 questions. So he asked, what? Just a moment, please. So then I asked him one philosophical question, that in Bhagavad Gita, I can understand that soul does not get killed, but how is it that the soul does not kill? I don't understand that. So then Guru Maharaj said, this is a question you can ask during class. So by Guru Maharaj, I don't attend any class. I come home. I come very rarely to the temple from home. So he just nodded. He didn't answer the question. Then I asked him that, Guru Maharaj, I have 3 offers of service. I don't know which one to choose. There's an offer from the Guwahati Gurukul. There's an offer from the Bombay Gurukul. And the local temple ISKCON Chennai, they are also offering that I can do service in the office. Which one do I choose? Again, Guru Maharaj gave no answer. It was time to go for the program, so I just left the room. So Guru Maharaj left for the program, and I was making his dinner, and then I packed his milk and other things, and I went to the pandal. And as I was walking in, Guru Maharaj finished his class. So I went to the first few rows, and he said, any questions? And then he said, one person asked me a question. And he himself said the philosophical question I had asked, and he gave the answer. And I was like, wow. And then somebody else asked a question. And Guru Maharaj spoke about the Kurma Brahmana. And he explained how the Kurma Brahmana wanted to go with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He wanted to leave his family. He wanted to leave his place. And he just wanted to follow Lord Chaitanya. So then Guru Maharaj said, Lord Chaitanya told the Kurma Brahmana, he put out his hand like this. And he said, you stay at home and do bhakti. You stay at home and do bhakti. You deliver your family, you deliver your neighborhood, you deliver your village, and then afterwards you can come. So then this was answering my second question, which was, what should I do? Which service should I take up? So then Guru Maharaj was like saying that stay at home and do bhakti. So I got answers to both my questions at that time. And after that, I joined the ISKCON Chennai office and started doing service there. So then Guru Maharaj, you may all know, maybe many of you may know this, he will ask, how are you? So first time he asked me this question, I was like, what to say? No, I can't say, fine, thank you. So what do I say? I was so lost. I didn't know what to say. I was like, just blinking. And Guru Maharaj noticed this. So he made it a point every time he saw me to ask me, how are you? And every time I would just blabber something, just blink. I never had a right answer for him. So then I shared this with Leela Padma Mataji, who was a very motherly mentor for me. And I asked her, what do I say, when he's asking this? So she said, what I say is your mercy, Guru Maharaj. Whether I'm well, it's your mercy. And if I think I'm not well, that's also your mercy. I thought, oh God, that's too elevated for me. I cannot think like that. So then I'm lost. What do I say? I'm not able to relate with that. I'm not on that level. What do I say? So this continued a few times. One time, Guru Maharaj asked, how are you? And I was blabbering something. And he noticed I didn't reply. He had walked past, but noticing that I had not given a reply, he retraced. He came back 4 steps and he looked at me and I didn't know what to say. And then he walked away. Then one devotee finally, he was narrating that, I went to the railway station. I saw Guru Maharaj. Guru Maharaj asked me, how are you? I said, I'm fine by your mercy, Guru Maharaj. Guru Maharaj was very happy. Oh, wow. I thought that is a great answer. I'm fine by your mercy, Guru Maharaj. That's such a good answer. Next time Guru Maharaj asked me, I know what to say. So I was waiting, when I'll be able to meet Guru Maharaj again and show him that I've learned the answer. So Guru Maharaj came to Chennai. And after finishing, packing his airport sweets and all that, I came to the office room. And that office room has two entrances, one from this side and one from this side. It's a small room with three or about four tables. So I was here this side of the room, and Guru Maharaj, he came in through the other door, and he was holding his walking stick. So he stood very casually, holding his walking stick, like putting his hands on top of his walking stick like this, standing very casually. And he said, "How are you?" And I said, "I'm fine by your mercy, Guru Maharaj." And Guru Maharaj just burst out laughing so loudly. He laughed so loudly, showing his happiness that, okay, finally this girl learned what to say. So that was a very, very sweet, beautiful interaction. But interesting thing is Guru Maharaj didn't stop it with that. So that year when I went to Mayapur, and I used to be among those people who, will go as far as the secretaries tell you to stop and go away. So I was following Guru Maharaj. We came to the Lotus building, and even the Lotus building, we went up the first flight of steps. Then there the secretary said, "Okay, no more. You're not following Guru Maharaj after here, no more." So I was there somewhere in these steps. And Guru Maharaj, he noticed I was there, and he's looking at me, and he's calling out, "Lalita, how are you?" And this Lalita, from wherever she is, she was answering, "I'm fine by your mercy, Guru Maharaj." And Guru Maharaj is still looking at me and saying, "Yes." So it was reconfirming that, yes, that is the way to answer that question. So it was a very beautiful instruction and interaction that Guru Maharaj allowed me to have with him, such a light, jovial, simple thing, which took me so long to learn. And he was patient. He didn't just knock it on my head, "Hey, this is what you have to say," but he made it such a fun learning experience where I was searching for the answer. And finally I could give it to him. So it was a very wonderful interaction. So I have 10 minutes more. So like I said, in those initial days, there were not so many people for service, and I would get really worn out, and I was a fanatic. So I was following this rigorous rules that, the disciple should wake up before the spiritual master and should go to sleep after the spiritual master, should eat after the spiritual master. So I was thinking that I should follow all this. So Guru Maharaj would take lemon juice as soon as he woke up. So definitely I have to wake up before that and get the lemon juice ready. And then he will have breakfast, and I will have only after he has had, like this. So after 3 days, body wears out. So Guru Maharaj's maximum is 3 days in one place, so it would wear out. So one morning I was very tired, and it was making me offensive. So I was thinking that, after I finished the breakfast service, so I thought, okay, I will eat. After the breakfast I have sent the breakfast for Guru Maharaj, I will eat. But then I got busy doing different things. I thought, okay, after I cut the vegetables for lunch, I will eat. So I didn't eat then also. By then, Guru Maharaj lunch has gone up. I still have not eaten anything. Then I started thinking in this offensive way that, oh, we have cooked such a lunch for him, but what will he say? The same old thing. He will say, "Thank you very much for the prasadam." Or he will say, "Who cooked?" "I think Radharani cooked." This is what he has said before, and he's going to say the same thing. And then my mind, it's thinking in this way. But spiritual world, and not the positive side was I was saying, the spiritual world, everything is always new. So maybe Guru Maharaj will have something new to tell this time. So let me see if he has something new to tell us. So half offensive, half expecting something. So like this, so lunch has gone for Guru Maharaj, and still I didn't eat. I started washing the vessels. We were waiting. And then Guru Maharaj finished lunch. And this brahmachari, he came carrying the big plate. We gave Guru Maharaj such a huge plate. So he came carrying the prasadam plate high up like this, so that nobody puts their hand into the plate when he's bringing it from the first floor to the ground floor. So he brought this to the kitchen, and he said, Guru Maharaj said, "This is for the Matajis who cooked." And all the Matajis there, we were so happy, because this is always a problem for us, that Guru Maharaj will eat, and all the devotees, senior devotees who are eating with him, they will take all the Mahaprasadam and we won't get anything. So then, we were angry, we were anxious, all these mixed feelings were going on in our minds. And then Guru Maharaj sent this whole plate of Mahaprasadam. And he said, this is for the Matajis who cooked. And I was so inspired by hearing that. I was so enthused. Yes, Guru Maharaj, that's something new. In the spiritual world, everything is new. It's nothing is ever repeated. Everything is new. And I was so happy that even then I didn't stop to eat. In my enthusiasm, I washed all the vessels and finally sat down to eat at 2 o'clock or maybe 4. And we had so much Mahaprasadam because a whole plate came to us. All the other devotees in the temple, they took little. And there's so much Mahaprasadam we cannot waste. So me and my another god sister who had cooked, we sat down. We sat down to eat that Mahaprasadam. We were sitting there for 1 hour. We didn't want to waste any bit of that Mahaprasadam. So both of us sat there and we just emptied the full Mahaprasadam that Guru Maharaj had sent. And the devotees started teasing that just sit along, the evening prasadam for the devotees will be coming. You can eat that also. So much Mahaprasadam. So we know from Bhagavatam how important the Mahaprasadam of the pure devotees of the Guru is. So we are all eager to get that Mahaprasadam. So I used to be very eager for that Mahaprasadam. And as years went by and I stopped getting Mahaprasadam because I'm not in the temple. I'm not going to the temple when Guru Maharaj is there. So somehow I got disconnected. By now, there are more devotees doing the services. And I got disconnected from that service. I was not getting prasadam. But I started yearning that, Guru Maharaj, I want your Mahaprasadam. Just give me a moment, please. So I started yearning so much that again, I want Mahaprasadam like that, of your whole plate, which I don't have to share with anyone. I wanted that. And a few days later, I had this dream where Guru Maharaj is maybe in Amahata preaching, maybe in Bangladesh. I don't know, but it's like a lot of huts. It's like a village. Guru Maharaj is surrounded by many devotees. He's walking into each hut. They are giving him some prasadam. He takes a little and he moves on to the next hut. So he's going on like this. So in one hut, I enter with the other devotees and they are all, Guru Maharaj goes away and everyone is going away. And I'm calling out, hey, take the Mahaprasadam. Why are you leaving the Mahaprasadam and going? Take the Mahaprasadam. I'm calling out, but nobody is hearing. The kirtan is going on and they're just following Guru Maharaj. So I thought, so much Mahaprasadam. And I sat and ate as much as I could to my heart's content. And that gave me so much satisfaction. That gave me so much satisfaction that I got like a permanent fulfillment that I've got this Mahaprasadam, because that yearning was not there after that. So I guess even when I feel that I just remember this dream, the incidents where I have got plenty of Mahaprasadam and I feel satisfied. Okay. So another incident is after attending Vyas Puja in Mayapur. After attending Vyas Puja in Mayapur, we had to return to Chennai. And the vice president told us that there is a program, a Namahata program in Balasore. If people who go to Mayapur, you will know there's Kolkata, Balasore, and then we go to Mayapur. So then the arrangement was that we stop at Balasore, attend the Namahata program, and then go for our train. So my god sister Leela Mai Lakshmi and myself, we were there at the program. So the Namahata, it's a huge pandal, so many people, and Kirtan was going on, and then Guru Maharaj got on stage. And there was the men devotees were on his side. Guru Maharaj was, singing and dancing. And on this side, some women, Matajis, they came and they started dancing. So Leela Mai and I, we immediately thought, oh, we want to go and dance too. We want to be there, with Guru Maharaj on the stage dancing with the other women. And then I told Leelamai, look, they are white elephants. Prabhupada only wanted the white elephants to dance. So I don't know if we should go on stage and dance. So let's just stand here and we will enthuse the people here to dance. We'll make them clap and sing loudly. So quite in the, front of the pandal, everyone is standing. And we started encouraging the women around us to come on, sing, dance, clap. We were encouraging them. And we were making so much noise that, of course, Guru Maharaj from the stage, he could see us. And it was very beautiful. He's holding his hands high and dancing like this. And then he says like this, come. So it was so beautiful, Leelamai and I were so happy. We just ran, we just jumped and ran to the back of the stage. We got on there, and then the women there, they told us you should be very gentle, no jumping. So very gentle steps. So we were there on stage dancing for a little while, and then it was time to go. So now we thought that, okay, Guru Maharaj, he caught, we could catch his attention that time. So now also we will catch his attention. We'll offer obeisance to him, and then we will leave. So Guru Maharaj sat down to give class. He's telling the Mangalacharan prayers, and both of us, we went there and knelt, went on our knees in, somewhere nearby where he could see us. And we are waiting. The moment he looks at us, we will offer obeisance. But we were waiting and waiting and waiting, and there was no chance of Guru Maharaj looking at us. And we thought, okay, that's it. So that mercy was there for that period. It's not going to be there forever. It's not forever. And every time you want that, Guru Maharaj is going to, pamper your desires. So come on, move it. So then we just offered obeisances and left. So these interactions are like, photographs and videos in our mind, which any moment we think happens in our vision. So these are those beautiful pastimes. And this meeting, JSS meeting, it's so inspiring. It inspires us to do more service for Guru Maharaj, to be more committed to following the vows we have taken, to do whatever we can to serve Guru Maharaj. He has such a big list of what he has to do for Prabhupada and how we can help him. So it was in 1996 that during a JSS meeting in Chennai, I got so inspired that I must do something for Guru Maharaj and the devotees. So that is when I got this idea to put together the questions and answers that were happening on Wincom. So that was the time that computers had just come in, Wincom had been formed, there were conferences, and this was called, I think, Krishna Conscious Answers to Questions, something like that. And Guru Maharaj, devotees could ask Guru Maharaj questions and he would answer. So those days, not many people had access to this. So I thought, okay, let me make this accessible to the devotees. So, so I started working on this, I think, in February. And the target was to offer it to Guru Maharaj on his Vyas Puja. So I had to work quite long hours on this. But I decided that in doing this service, I should be careful to do my most important service to Guru Maharaj, which is to chant 16 rounds. So I would get up so early, finish my 16 rounds, and then start working on this book. So yes, Spiritual Truths from Cyberspace. That's the name Banu Maharaj gave to the book. So that book was inspired during a JSS meeting. So I think subsequently also another JSS meeting, it was that I wanted to do a website where we could put together pastimes like I'm sharing now and other devotees share, to put it together. So when I formed it, it was, I don't remember. I gave it some name and I started one, and then it didn't. We put some pastimes there. And then I discussed with other devotees to continue doing it. And then it became simplymerciful.com. So I don't know if it is still there. So a place where we can collect all these pastimes of Guru Maharaj. So it's very interesting how any devotee, it's not that only senior devotees, prominent devotees have pastimes with Guru Maharaj. When we interview devotees, all devotees to collect these pastimes, I was very surprised to hear how even, simple devotees who always stay at the back, how they also have interesting interactions with Guru Maharaj. Like one lady, she was telling that in Mayapur, Guru Puja was going on. So she went, but she could not find any flowers. So she thought, okay, I'll mentally offer. So she went to Guru Maharaj and she did like this without any flowers in her hand. She just did like this and offered. And Guru Maharaj, what he did was he mentally picked up a sweet and he gave her. And she started crying. She started crying that, oh my God, Guru Maharaj is not happy with what I did. He did not give me a real sweet. So then next opportunity she got, she offered him real flowers. So this was very, surprising. I mean, it was like a eye-opener for me how Guru Maharaj has interactions with all devotees, whatever be their services and whatever they are doing. So yeah, close to ending time. Thank you so much for this opportunity. And Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. So before I say any devotee, if you have any question, now is the time, you can ask Mataji. So you can just raise your hand. Okay, Anandita Janva Mataji has a question. Yes, Mataji, please go ahead.
Hi Krishna. Hi
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna.
Pranam Mataji. Very nice to hear your relations, your
Thank you.
being with Guru Maharaj, your moments, lovely moments. Mataji, I wonder that you said that I hardly could go to the temple and serve there. So how did you manage the services in the Pandal program wherever Guru Maharaj was going? How did you manage that?
Oh, this is, you have to see it in a time scale. So this Pandal program, all that is like 91, 92, and then 94, I got married. 95, I got my first son. Even then, I could do some services. And I have 4 children, you see. So as the family expanded, my services to the temple reduced. I would work from home because I had this computer skill. I would work from home within my comfort time. Yes, Mataji.
Okay, thank you, Mataji.
So next question is from Leela Madhuri Mataji. Yes, Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Mataji, by Guru Maharaj's mercy, I'm preaching in 3 schools in Bangalore.
Oh, very good.
One is a special school where mentally, physically challenged children are there.
Mm-hmm.
One is a government school, and one is a play school. Means only pre-nursery, LKG, UKG. Those children are there. So I would like to take some guidance from you to go ahead about these programs as well as to increase the number of schools, because there are many schools are also approaching
Wonderful,
me.
wonderful. Guru Maharaj is so happy with this service because in Chennai, 2014 to 2019, before COVID, we had picked up very well in our school preaching. About 14 schools we were preaching and 10,000 children we were preaching to every week. And pure Krishna consciousness. We are not telling lion and jackal story. We were having such a good response. Guru Maharaj was so pleased, and he gave my Prabhu and me the congregation award. So he was very pleased, and wherever he went, he would tell about this program. So I'm very happy to hear you're doing this. Please to connect with us. Varuna Mataji, are you still there? Can you please type my email ID in the chat box? So you can just get in touch with me by email, and we will take it forward from there.
Mataji, I'm not good in technology, so I may not be able to copy this email ID. So can you please give
Okay,
your
so okay, we'll give the mobile number.
Whom should I contact, Mataji, to collect?
You will see the mobile number in the chat box. Please write it down and just message me afterwards. Is that okay, Mataji? She will send it. Varuna will send my number, and then
can I contact
you can get in touch with
admin
us.
of the WhatsApp group? Can I contact the admin of this WhatsApp group where we are
Yeah,
getting the
must be
link?
possible. Yeah, definitely must be possible. Akshay
Yes.
Gorson, the Prabhu, she would like your
Sure,
help.
sure. Sure,
Thank you,
Mataji.
thank
You can contact me,
Yeah, so
Mataji.
the
And
number is there now. The number has been posted in the chat. You can just write it down from there.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Varna, please give the email also in case anybody else would like to contact by email. Thank you. Thank you, Varna. Yes,
so next question is from Sondri Ramchandran. Please, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat
Hare
Pranam, all
Krishna,
wishes to Srila
Pranam.
Prabhupada, all
Jai
wishes
Shri
to
Ram.
Guru Dharma. Thank you so much for giving such a nectarian class. Mataji, I just have a great suggestion from you that due to my working hours, I'm not able to do the temple service very much. That is the big thing for my initiation to be getting late now. How do I manage it that? Because my working hours is really very little bit not a proper scheduled working hours. Can you give me some suggestions?
This would really depend on your local leadership, what they require of you. So I don't know how to help in this. You have to speak to your local leadership and find out what you can do. Explain to them what is your situation and find out what you can do.
Thank you, Mataji. Please pray for us. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Lalitangi Mataji.
Hari Bol. Can't hear you, Lalitangi.
Thank you so much. Please accept my humble
Hari Bol.
obeisances.
Pranam.
Nice to see you after a long time.
See you, very long time.
Yeah, and wonderful pastimes, the Barkit Road Temple, and it was all going in my eyes when you were describing.
It'll be easy for you to picturize, visualize, because you know the rooms and where what happens.
So my question is, if you could share something about the temple opening, the deities, if Guru Maharaj's pastimes, anything regarding that. Our temple in Chennai is Radha Krishna, so any particular name, but I heard that Guru Maharaj gave that name. So
yeah. Okay, the deity's name, yes, Guru Maharaj, we are all waiting what name Guru Maharaj will give for the deities. So during the Chennai opening, my husband, he was suggesting that why not just Radha Krishna? Krishna is his primary name, so why don't we have just that name? And Guru Maharaj liked the idea, he agreed, he accepted that. So that's how it happened. So pastimes such as, like I said, I got distanced. I think by 2000 or so, I got distanced from personal services. So whatever my memories are before that. After that, I have not had much interaction, personal interaction. And it also happens because, you move on, right? Like the assembly line. So your turn is over and now it's the time for the other newer devotees. As they come, we give them the time, we give them the service. So then you just move on. So you don't really go and crowd there and take his time, which will mean others don't get his time. So that way we move on. So fortunately, because you have all these interactions and these are constantly something you can meditate on. So then you don't miss it so much that, I'm not there in Guru Maharaj presence. I'm not, talking to him. You don't miss it so much because your internal meditations increase as time goes by. So like I said, just after that dream where I could eat so much Mahaprasad, there's so much satisfaction. And anytime I want, I just remember that and I eat. So you're getting a response. Maybe it's more of a spiritual level response that we are getting. You know, as you progress, the bhakti is so powerful. So it's not that I am special or anything, not at all. It's just that bhakti by itself is so powerful. So it's like, you know, I tell people, it's like you just take that first step and put it on the escalator. That's all you have to do. And then, you know, you don't know, it's just, you're just going up. So bhakti is very powerful. So just do, you know, whatever bhakti possible, and you will see that it is taking you higher.
Thank you so much for your invitation. Thank you.
After we moved to the new location from T Nagar, that's somehow I got a camera at that time. And I was running around, you know, going in front of Guru Maharaj and taking photos and all that. And he was like, why are you running so much? So down like that. So that's the last about 2000. After that, you know, I had 2003, I had one child, 2005, the next child, 2010, the next child. So then step by step, my temple activities reduced.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, Mataji, for a wonderful association to us. And it is really inspiring. Like you also join on a regular basis for these Throwback Thursday programs, and it's very wonderful, you know, to have like to hear your personal experiences. And like when you were, especially the thing that I liked, where you were saying prayed something to Guru Maharaj, and then after, you know, many months after that, Guru Maharaj was giving a class, and he actually, although it was Damodar month, but he started from the, you know, different topic, and then your prayers got fulfilled. So that is also, you know, really inspiring, like how Guru Maharaj, like he takes care of all the desires of, because it's not just you, from many other devotees also I've heard, we just pray something in our heart, Guru Maharaj, and then he just do that. Happened with me also at times, and with my wife also. So yeah, so that's a really wonderful quality of Guru Maharaj. It shows like because we as a new devotee, we think like maybe he doesn't know us. By this we get to know, okay, Guru Maharaj knows actually everything. Like that's what we hear, right? So Guru knows everything. So
At the
thank you
same
for
time,
sharing
there
on
is
that.
one thing Guru Maharaj has said, that if you want something, you have to ask.
Yes.
So it is not all the time that you think, you know, you want to put Guru Maharaj to the test, that I'm thinking in my heart and you should help me. Like, so Guru Maharaj says the calf should go to the cow if it wants milk. So you can't all the time, you know, test Guru Maharaj in this way. So at that time, when I thought like that Guru Maharaj, I'm not going to ask you. So the situation is that Guru Maharaj has had a stroke, and you know, our communications are reduced at that point. So, and I was also not sure if I would be able to sit in a class and ask the question like that. So we should be careful not to put Guru Maharaj to the test.
Yes. Thank you. So, on behalf of ISKCON Seshadripuram and all the assembled devotees, I'd like to thank Mataji, you know, for such a wonderful session by chanting one time Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna,
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 Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama, Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare Rama,
Rama
Rama
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare, Hare Hare.
Vansakalapadurvasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasudevasud
Mataji, I still I have a query. Like you said that you devotees run programs, Krishna conscious programs in schools.
Yeah.
So in a country like India, the secularism is very rampant.
Mataji, I think we can discuss this privately.
Okay.
We can just take this up privately. Yeah. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.